this thing called scope 3 as well, your supply chains, the consumer use of your products and services, all that's got to be 95% less impactful within less than 20 years. Think how much change you need to deliver.
What message do you have for businesses that are not already investing in sustainability?
I want to be very clear that sustainability is transformational for business in the next decade. Every industrial sector is going to be ripped apart, changed totally in terms of its business model, its products, its services, its value chain, its purpose, its strategy, everything it does in responding to things like the climate crisis, biodiversity crisis, the call for more equality in society. And that's not done by managing the status quo, the CSR, the ESG of the past. It's about profound change, and you need to be prepared for that.
How can businesses communicate their sustainability expectations to their supply chain and stakeholders?
Supply chain stakeholders are incredibly important to a business now on sustainability. In the past, it used to be about your own operations. I worked for a retailer. It was about shops and lorries and warehouses. Of course, that's obvious. But much more impact becomes from the suppliers who make your products and the consumers that use them. And unless you create a conversation with them as well, you'll get nowhere in terms of the journey forward. We call it scope 3. That's a bit of a technical term, but actually it's about engaging those tens of thousands of suppliers, business partners, and millions of consumers, if that's your business model, to ensure that they are part of the journey and understand what they need to reduce their impacts, but with your support.
How do you define net zero, and what does it mean in business?
Net zero is a really simple concept. It's about reducing today's carbon footprint by 90 to 95% at least by 2040 at the latest. Now, lots of nations, countries like the UK, countries across Europe, countries across the world, have said they're going to be net zero by 2050. That's an entire nation state, every business, every organisation within it. But we as individual businesses, we've got to do our part by 2040, and not just for what's called scope 1 and 2, your own operations, the things that you own, but this thing called scope 3 as well, your supply chains, the consumer use of your products and services. All that's got to be 95% less impactful within less than 20 years. Think how much change you need to deliver.
And just a follow-on question for that. If a business operates globally, will that create other challenges for them in terms of achieving that net zero, say in countries that don't hold the same standards as the one that they operate in?
And one of the great challenges of becoming net zero is operating globally. It's understanding that you operate in different jurisdictions. Clearly in Europe, we have some demanding rules now and coming in the future that will drive us towards that endpoint. There are other marketplaces, other countries where you might buy products from that don't have those drivers. And you will have to step into that vacuum and drive some of the change yourself. And that's difficult. So I would say to anybody, build partnerships with other companies, other organizations facing the same challenge. 80% of this is collaborative. It's working with your competitors and peers to drive the change that we need. 20% is you looking for that secret sauce that gives you a point of difference in a competitive marketplace.
As the mastermind behind Marks & Spencer's groundbreaking sustainability program, what can businesses learn from your experience?
Well, I take 3 big pieces of learning from delivering Plan A. The first is business case, ensuring your colleagues, your business understands the value you're creating, the cost savings from less energy and waste, the new markets you're preparing for the future, the motivation for your colleagues, for your employees, building resilience into supply chains that are impacted more and more by extreme weather, preparing for new disclosure rules, new taxes in the future. It's all about business case. The second thing is about integration, ensuring that every one of your 83,000 colleagues, as was the case at M&S, are part of this journey, understand what they can do, have the tools to do it, and recognise rewarded for a job well done. And the third thing is about partnership, working with your peers and competitors across your marketplace to drive things that you on your own can never do, but together you're stronger. So those 3 things, key pieces of learning for me in terms of delivering Plan A.
What do you hope audiences take away from your speeches?
Well, I like to think I bring 3 key things into the room. One is the imperative for change, understanding how the climate crisis, the biodiversity crisis, changes in society are driving the need for business to be very different in the future in terms of the relationship with society and the environment. The second thing is inspiration, the sense that we can deliver the change that we need. People can walk out of that room energized, believing, yes, we can. And the third thing is about practical ideas and tips. It's all very well having an inspiring gathering on one day, What about the other 364 days a year? What do you do in practice to drive the change you need in R&D, in HR, in finance, in procurement, in supply chain? And that's what I will bring to you, an understanding of what can be done and how to get it done.